I'm like, dude, there's no excuse. Okay. Sell your Prius, buy a van. Okay. You're halfway there. Then move to the desert.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
I'm like so amped up, and I don't know why. Like, dude, Nate, last night I left the bar at midnight. My two buddies are it's an incredible time. You know what I mean? It's one of those times where you're sitting there and you're like just enjoying the moment. You're having fun. You're having some drinks, and you're enjoying your time with the two guys that we have common interests. Like, we're here in Vegas for the commonality, but also just the adventure of being in Vegas. And at midnight last night, I look at my watch and I'm like, listen, I got to go to work. I'm already 3 or 4 beers deep. I'm feeling good. There's good music, and it's an incredible time. But then I had to stop myself and go, listen, like, I've got some things I need to do, and some things that I need to accomplish tomorrow morning. So I cut it short. And I think oftentimes, like in life, we're not willing to cut it short to take care of the things that we need to take care of. And I think it's one of those things that, when you look at the entirety of your life, it's made up of memories and experiences. And in order to make those experiences and memories happen, you got to put in the work, and you got to like put in the effort. And I was reminded of that last night. And you bringing up the topic that you did this morning, it hits home to me, because the only guarantee in life is death. Like, other than that, there's no fucking guarantees. Like, I might walk out on the strip, later today and get Tupac Shakur. You know what I mean? Like, it just might end for me. And you never know when that date is coming. You don't know when your expiration is going to happen. All you can do is take care of the things you need to take care of today. And I think it's an interesting topic that we don't often talk about a lot, because it's scary. The ending is nerve-wracking, because it's so undetermined. We don't really have a clear plan. You can plan your year, you can plan your day, you can plan your life. You can put these things in place, these boxes that you want to check, but at the same time, you never know when your ticket's going to be punched.
Yeah, and I think when you're on vacation, right? Like, you're in Vegas right now. I was recently in at Disneyland doing 75 hard, and it is one of those things that it's so easy to just let those excuses flow. They're there. It's like, I'm in Disneyland. How often? Or you're in Vegas. It's not somewhere you're going all the time. So it is really easy to just kind of put off the work and the things you need to do. But at the same time, it's not. It's like, hey, let me take my hour to do my workout. Let me take my 45 minutes to do my other things you need to do. And it is. You really do get caught up in the moment sometimes, and just have start doing nothing, or essentially, or doing whatever fun things are. But it is, and with those excuses, it really has a negative effect and a snowball effect, because it just starts rolling downhill, especially when you have those distractions. It is really really tough to stick to your discipline. And you're right. You don't know when anything's going to happen. And like, a lot of people, hear, oh, just, enjoy life, enjoy, it's your day off, enjoy but when you really think about it, like, enjoy doing what? Doing nothing, essentially. I mean, those, when it's your day off, well, what do? I watch TV. Or the opposite of being productive is just like sitting around playing video games, watching TV, or, or something similar, right? Taking a nap, all those things. But it's like, when those days, on my days off, or when your off days, when you just are productive and doing things, it's moving you forward, and you feel so much better. Like, there's never a time when you go to the gym, even if you don't feel like going up, where you leave and you're just like, man, I can't believe I went to the gym, right? Or same thing when you run. Like, there's never a time where you just feel bad about it, even though you don't want to do it. So I think, even just because that's how we're meant to do things, right? We're meant to be productive. We're meant to do that type of stuff. So when you do it, it feels awesome. And you're right. I mean, why make these excuses of, oh, well, you don't know when it's gonna end, so I just gotta enjoy life. But then time passes, and all of a sudden you're still in the same spot, right? Years later, because you're just enjoying life, and then you look back like, shit, just wasted my last 5 years enjoying life, and I got nothing to show for it. So I think you can still enjoy life and be productive with doing your things, and do it all, and move forward.
Well, I think it's also like the mindset of work on things that you actually enjoy working on. I don't love running. I did last night when I got in from my fucking nightmare of a travel day. The last thing I wanted to do was go run. The first thing I wanted to do was eat. Good God, all I ate, the entire day was M&Ms and fucking almonds, and 2 sodas. I felt like shit. All I wanted to do was like go eat. But I knew that if I just put in a little work, you know, at the end of that workout, I'm going to feel amazing. And I think oftentimes, the things that we do that maybe don't, especially when it comes to working out, like sometimes it's painful, sometimes it hurts, sometimes you don't want to do it. It's not the funnest thing in the world, but the results of that work is tremendous. I was filled with energy, after the run, and I was different. If you ever walk down the strip of Las Vegas, there's thousands of people. It's the most challenging run in the world. Good God, it was like playing fucking ping pong with people. It was absolutely nuts. But I think it's one of those things that if you really do enjoy what you do, and you don't let the distractions kind of just manipulate your time off. And what I'm talking about is the scrolling, the Netflixing, the just the couch potato that sits there and kind of coasts through life because he doesn't know when it's going to end. And then when it does, you look back on your life and you recognize that there's no memories, there's no experiences, there's nothing, there's not a whole lot of fun in your life. But if you choose the right path and you choose the things that you enjoy working on, it all can be fun.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I think, sorry, speaking of scrolling, I was scrolling on Instagram, and Alex Hormozy put something basically that, and I just read it, and it does. He's said, if your work, I'm probably butchering how I said, but basically, if your work life and your fun life, you should make it indistinguishable, right? Like, or your work day. And so, but just like that, right? Like, you should be doing things that's work essentially, but that you also enjoy. So you don't need that break away from what you do, right? Like, if yeah, you're a perfect example of that, right? You're doing your traveling, you're following your plan, and it's yeah, you're working, and you got to do manage all your storage units and manage your rental properties and all this stuff. But that's what you want to do. You're setting up, and you enjoy it every day, I'm sure. And it's the same thing. If you find that a good job, if you're doing your side business or your whatever it is that you do, as long as you're enjoying it, I mean, you don't need a break from it. I don't know. I feel that way, every day. I love getting up and go to the gym. I love doing my things that are productive, that I know are moving me forward. And it's not, I enjoy that every day. And it's like, I feel like some people, oh man, especially my family, they give me a hard time. Oh, going to the gym, like you're doing it again. It's like, yeah, because I enjoy it. I go to the gym every single day, because I enjoy it. Like it's just one of those things. Or even when I was working out twice a day, doing 75 hard, it was very enjoyable. Did it suck sometimes? Yeah, but that's what you want to do. And when you're doing what you want to do, people are even going to criticize that, right? Because they just don't understand you putting in the work to do these things that it looks like you're doing the same thing over and over again, but there's a reason for it, and it's moving you forward, and it's bettering yourself, and it's, I don't know, there's nothing better than that.
Well, and for me, I was reflecting yesterday because I'm sitting in the airport, and my fucking phone is dying, and I'm pissed. I'm like, I just charged this damn thing. Like the battery is just not lasting as long as it used to. And I remember this moment in my 20s. I had like a iPhone 6, 5, whatever series it was popular back then. And I remember looking at everyone else's phone. My phone was old. It was like 2 or 3 years old. And I was having the same issue I'm having today. Like I had to carry around like, those little battery packs that you fucking plug into your phone halfway through the day because the thing's dying all the time. But I recognized something like in my 20s, I would see someone with a fancier phone and I would get envious of them. And in my 20s, I was envious of a lot of people with their materialistic things. And as I get older, I don't really give a shit. I'm not trying to compete with everyone else because everyone else's dream, isn't my dream. And I recognized yesterday, I go, if I got to carry around an extra battery pack, so what? I don't have a $200 phone payment. That $200 allows me to, invest more in my business or invest in the things that I want to do in my life. And it was a moment yesterday where I recognized, I go, yeah, it'd be really nice to have another fucking $1,800 iPhone, but this one's working perfectly fine. It does the same exact job. And then I was like, well, then I start justifying it, oh, it's got a better camera. It's you can shoot cinematic films with it. And then I look down and I'm carrying around a 4K 30 frames per second camera with a fucking Rode mic and all this shit to make a cinematic movie. And I think a lot of times, like, you'll get more enjoyment out of your life if you're not chasing the materialistic things. Sitting in Las Vegas with a street view compared to, my pipe view out here of fucking McDonald's and, the fucking warehouse next to us. When I wake up in the morning, if I want to change my outlook or change my view of where I'm at in the world, just walk 100 feet the other direction and go outside and go see it like, the rest of everyone. And I think it's one of those things that we often compete with everyone in what we think our dream should be, when we don't look inside and recognize what we actually enjoy in life and just chasing that. For me, in the last couple weeks, Nate and I have been talking about, what business do I need to work on? What do I need to do? I want to start this, or maybe this, or this is a great opportunity. And, in the last couple weeks, I've really tried to reflect and recognize what I'm really, interested in, and what I'm, curious to actually chase. What is my dream? What is the things that I enjoy doing every day? And it's scary, but I think I found it. It's these daily vlogs, it's podcasting, it's creating travel content. And it's just chasing that as a business instead of chasing someone else's materialistic or maybe someone else's dream.
For sure. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna challenge you on the thing is, I think it depends what you're, because right now my biggest motivation is materialistic things, right? Like I want a supercar, right? So that's what gets me to leveling up continuously, because I want to have some materialistic things that are grand, right? It's not just the newest iPhone, the newest this. I want some things that, because like we're just talking, life is so short. Like, man, I want to enjoy the best that life has to offer. So how I'm going to push myself because I want to get that, and that's not average, and even though I think it's you're chasing this, it's your thing though is not maybe necessarily a Lamborghini, but hey, I want to have 1,000 units of 1,000 storage units or so many rental properties. So it's I think it's kind of the same thing. It's essentially, which is it's a materialistic thing that you're chasing that provides income and that same type of thing. So I think we all have it, and I think it's necessary, because if you're not, what are you chasing if you don't have that why, that's big, that you want, that big audacious goal or dream, it doesn't get you moving forward, right? And it just kind of gets you doing the same thing, and it's, oh yeah, it'd be nice to have that, but no, it's like, no, I really want that, and that's why I'm going to keep bettering myself every day. I'm going to keep putting in the work, training, whatever it is, improving my skills. And it's funny, even on that too, I've been kind of even shifting more of really, like that, because we've been talking about what business or this, that. I'm like, well, what if I should just kind of really shift and really focus on my brand, right? On my personal page, just strictly brand and who I am, and building up my fitness content or any of that stuff. And if that will essentially help grow to something else in the meantime. So yeah, it's funny how, which is good too though, like it's not necessarily stopping something, but it's like, hey, do I need to put more effort into something else, pivot and go here versus there? And man, yeah, like just this podcasting stuff, dude, I love doing our podcast. I love it. It is just, it makes us better, right? I know I'm able to talk better. I'm able to be on, I get so used to being on video all the time. It just, all these things that it leads, you don't see it in the day, in the week, in the month, but man, I know over time that we've been doing this, it's just improving skills.
Well, and I think so, like my materialistic dream, okay, might not be the same materialistic dream that you have. And I think that's unique between you and I. Something that you hit on was, a Lamborghini. That sounds amazing. Like that sounds absolutely incredible. But that's not what gets me up in the morning. That's not what drives me. And I think once you recognize, what drives you and what really truly motivates you, it's funny because a lot of the people that we look up to, we see them like the materialistic things and we go, we want that. And then if you truly ask that person, why do you want that supercar? Do you understand that you're going to have to, it literally is going to cost you like $30,000 a month to maintain? Like, oh, like what? Like what, what do you really, really want? And for you, maybe that's what it is. For me, it might be different. But I think oftentimes if you don't recognize what you truly want, and if you're just chasing what others want, you're going to find yourself pretty unhappy, and you're going to be at a crossroad where you just give up because it's not really what you want. Do I think a Lamborghini would be fucking awesome? Absolutely. But I would rather shoot a movie about you buying the Lamborghini, driving the Lamborghini. That to me would be fucking awesome. Like that's my dream. You know what I mean? And will I someday be, a 50-year-old man, have some, midlife crisis and go buy a Ferrari? I'm a Ferrari guy. You're clearly a Lamborghini guy, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's just, it's different dreams. And I think oftentimes, the world pushes their marketing towards us into convincing us that maybe we want something different. It was funny. I was talking to my Uber driver, right, today or yesterday in Vegas. And he's asked me, what I'm here for, what do I do? And I go, enough about me. What do you want out of life? He goes, I want to buy a van and be a digital nomad and live, off the grid. I go, then why don't you fucking do it? Well, it takes money. It takes, and he just rattled off these fucking excuses. I'm like, dude, there's no excuse. Okay. Buy sell your Prius, buy a van. Okay. You're halfway there. Then move to the desert. It's really easy. You can live off like $80 a month. Like, it's simple. I've done it. You know what I mean? It's just, I think oftentimes we confuse our dreams with other people's dreams.
Yeah. It's whatever, you want to do. There is, right, excuses. It all comes back to excuses, right? What's the excuse that you're making to not, why you can't do something, right? Why can't you go to the gym today? Why can't you put good food in your mouth and stop eating the shitty food? It's always an excuse for a lot of things. And when you really try and eliminate the excuses, you really find out that there's really it's not that hard. It really isn't. It's not to go to the gym, eat good food, read good books, like just stop doing one thing and start doing this thing. But the excuses they're there. We all have them. I have them every day. We're the best salespeople to ourselves. We can excuse and tell us why we shouldn't want to do these things. So easy. And it's, but yet when we need to, sell someone else on something, man, we're the worst at it. We can tell ourselves why not to go to the gym, but we can't tell someone else, why they should go to the gym or why they need to do these things. So
so I heard this great sales tactic that will help anyone in sales. And I wanted your take on it because it was something that I'd never heard before. And I thought it was super interesting because I think it's one of those concepts that changes your mindset. Because I think oftentimes if you just change your mindset about something, specifically maybe sales, marketing, whatever you're chasing, whatever your want is. And the sales guy was talking about, he goes, listen, my only goal for each day was in sales is to get 10 no's in a row. Once I get 10 no's in a row, I'm done for the day. And he goes, you'll be shocked that if you're looking for the denial, you're looking for the failure, it doesn't come as often because you've addressed the no beforehand. And it's an interesting concept, and it's one of those things that I really want to test out here in the next few weeks because I think it's unique. So what is your take on the 10 no's in a row? If you're looking, you have to get 10 no's in a row before you quit. Like what is your thought process on that?
I mean, it's interesting, and if you're trying to do it, it's probably it does. It really, it's almost that kind of reverse psychology type thing, right? Oh, if I need to close everyone and get all these yeses. Well, now I'm gonna look and purposely try and get no's. I guess without doing crazy self-sabotage and
Well, yeah, of
telling
course.
cussing out
Yeah.
someone, but yeah, if you're truly doing your job and then but just having that reverse psychology, I can see where you probably are going to get more sales out of it, right? You're not, of course, you're never going to get 10 no's in a row because there's usually at least 20% of people are just going to buy no matter what. So, you're at least going to have a couple sales. So it is though. I can see, yeah, you're dressing the nose before, and all of a sudden, then yeah, you're getting sales. So it'd be an interesting thing to try out. And obviously, 10 is a very small sample size, but if you're talking about daily, it depends on, I guess, how many calls what you're doing each day. But I can see it working, and I can see why it would work.
It's crazy when you shift your mindset. I think oftentimes you get a different perspective. And for me, like getting the no is really hard. Like because you dump so much effort and because you're passionate about whatever you're selling. If you're truly passionate about it, if you're selling, fucking toasters, okay, and you don't love toasters or making toast, then you're probably gonna get the 10 no's rather fast. But if you're truly passionate about what you're trying to do, for me, getting the no is hard. Like it hurts. But knowing that if you get 10 of them in a row, then you just try it tomorrow. And I think it was, I don't know, I'd never heard that concept before. And I think it's one of those things that, reminded me that if you look at a problem or an issue a different way, or if you reframe it and you put it in your mind, you set it up in your mind a different way, you might get a different result. And I think oftentimes, you put in the same effort, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and you're not getting any traction. And for me, my best example is like my daily vlog. For the first 10 episodes, like it was pretty much the same, like the beginning, middle, and end. It was, I would call it my 10 no's, and then I tried something different. I did it in black and white. You and I talked about it last week. That video did horrible. Like no one wants to watch a black and white video. But it taught me that, you've got to kind of change your mindset and you've got to switch things up. And because if you're going to get those 10 no's in a row, well, fuck, maybe it's not working. Maybe instead of selling toasters, you need to sell fucking ovens. I don't know. Maybe, get something fancy like a blender.
Yeah. And well, I mean, the concept of, hey, once I do this, I'm done for the day, I like the opposite concept, which I do every day. The power list. Once you get your wins, right? Once you do your task for the day, you're done for the day. You won your day. You moved yourself forward. Now you can do whatever you want. And it's almost the same type of thing, right? If goal setting and things, and you're right. Sometimes you're not in the right vehicle. You can be selling one thing and maybe you should be selling something else. It's something you do have to evaluate is am I in the right vehicle? Am I selling the right thing? And is it what I want? Am I able to do it with this? So yeah, maybe selling toasters is the right thing, and maybe it needs to be ovens or even something bigger. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people don't evaluate that too. Maybe you do like what you do, but are you in the right place? Are you in the right, maybe, okay, I am in the right vehicle, no matter what it is. People that are in law enforcement, cool, you're in the right job, but are you at the right department, right? Are you at the right place that can get you to your goals, right? If you have you want to be at the top, well, is it realistically, are you going to have a chance? No, because it's such a small department, it's going to take you forever. Or you can go somewhere bigger, or, whatever it is that you do. So it's something that we don't sometimes just need to evaluate and be open to change, and change in that sense of just going somewhere else and find, oh, this is the right path for me, not this one.
Well, how do you, like, everyone talks about like their dreams and their goals and what they want out of life. And I heard this other concept as I was sitting in my stupid shitty Frontier Airlines flight going, I'm only flying first class for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like immediately, like it's crazy when you put yourself in shitty situations, how like your wants and desires change, because you'd be like, man, if I could sit in like business class, first class, and actually get my work done, like how much is that worth? You know what I mean? And I had this concept, and we talked about earlier in the show, we talked about like the materialistic things. And if you would ask me 2 days ago, like, do you want to sit in first class? I'd be like, no, it's a waste of money. Like we're headed to the same destination. Who cares where I sit? Until yesterday. And it was funny. So I had an issue with TSA. TSA decided to damage my laptop because the guy was being a jack. Anyway, long story. I almost went to jail. He almost got punched. I was very frustrated because like my laptop's kind of my life. Like this is where I do my work. And I go to the TSA to make my complaint, and I'm talking to the supervisor, and I go, "What? How do I get around this?" And the lady next to him's like, "Well, you just don't fly anymore." I go, "Or I fly private." She goes, "Well, that would be very expensive, I go, "But how convenient would that be? Hop on the flight. There's no fucking TSA. There's no shitty seats. You could work on your laptop. Hell, we could do this podcast on the private jet." And it was one of those things that I think I don't know where I'm going with this thing. I just have this random thought, and I have to express it. This is the beauty of our podcast. Sometimes you don't realize what you want until what you don't have. And yesterday it made it very clear. Like my Lamborghini is a goddamn jet. Okay, I don't know why. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I think the one thing that is really cool about goals and dreams is they're not going to present themselves unless you do the work and your consistency and you actually execute on those goals. I think it's one of those things that it's really easy to say what you want and be frustrated and be like, one day I'm gonna fucking fly private, but you don't put the systems in place to actually execute that. And I wanted your take on goals and wants and dreams are great, but how do you what is your mindset in getting what you want out of life? Like what is the steps? What is the processes that you need to make? I know you've got your winning lists, win the day, all that stuff, but is there anything else in your life that you could share with me? Because I'm in need. Okay, Nate, first class or private. Okay, that's my Lamborghini.
Well, and I'm going to kind of just really go start talking about that real quick because it's yeah. So okay, Lamborghini, but I think my bigger picture thing is just that is like, right, having what money does get you is that convenience as well, right? Like why why a Lamborghini versus whatever, a Honda Accord? You're going to go to the same place. Correct, it can get you there, but at the same time it's going to get you there feeling a lot better, right? Yes, you're on the same flight, but just so you experience a first class flight versus the Frontier whatever flight, it's completely different. And yeah, maybe it was just a couple $100 more, but that couple $100 would have helped you be a lot more productive, right? And maybe you would have got your stuff done. How much is that worth to you? And there's a lot of even in the smaller things where people are so saving money. When I went to Disneyland, right, you have to spend a certain amount of money to get in the fast pass. Well, sure, it's extra money, but at the same time, you can do twice as many rides in 8 hours as you can not doing it. And so that's, a lot of things. That's what you're paying for. Just like the price. Yeah, that's one of my goals too, is be able to, hey, I want to get on this plane. I'm going to maybe LA or somewhere close, but hey, I want to do it on a private jet. Why? Because you don't have to wait in the lines. It's a way better ride. There's all these things. And that's really what it comes down to, and having that abundance mindset really helps, because when you're around people and then, oh, I'd rather have this, or when you kind of realize like you're shortchanging yourself on certain things for a couple bucks, right? Sometimes, and it's like that. And I've even heard and someone I follow more locally and is kind of a bigger entrepreneur, they talk about like people will drive around to save 20 cents a gallon on gas. It's like and he talks, by the time you spent the extra 30 minutes to go find the cheap, like you could have just after 10 gallons, it literally costs you $2 or $3 more for the whole, for your whole fill up. Yet you're spending all this extra time. It's basically that, right? It's like, it doesn't make sense. Spend the extra money, get the convenience. You want to get to that point where it doesn't matter. And at the same time, and it really saves you so much more time. Just, I'm going to go to the closest gas station and fill up and be on my way. I just saved myself 20, 30 minutes. And I think it's just it's a bigger picture, bigger concept of having that abundance mindset that we all get stuck into not having, and thinking, oh, I need to save this money here or do this here, instead of just like, man, you could have a better flight. Maybe it gets you there even sooner, right? Because American Airlines maybe had more flights versus Frontier, and it's right. There's all these things that stack up to be like, man, I could have saved an hour. I could have been more productive on the flight, or all these things. And I think a lot of it is really just sometimes we get caught up in the moment and not just looking at it from we get too emotional about it instead of just being practical and be like, yeah, it does cost me a little bit more money, but look all these benefits that I get versus saving a little money. And I think we all get in that mindset. I do too. I do all the time. I find myself like, oh, that, you drive by the gas. Oh, dude, that one's way more. So I know if I keep going here, but then all of a sudden I'm like, damn, I'm off route. It's taking me that much longer or whatever it is. And so, sorry, I know that was like a real tangent, but I think it's a concept that we all go through and it's hard to break out of. It's just like the excuses we make. So I think getting that mindset right to knowing like, hey, there's a reason why things cost a little bit more, but man, you're just those little things, you get way more out of it. Your quality of life increases. So, and my biggest thing, and I know you're kind of asking how can we better ourselves? What advice? My thing is just you got to know what you want. I think it is a big thing, right? Like you're saying, if we're trying to accomplish this thing, if you know what you want, how are you going to get there? I think just knowing that everything you do, you're trying to improve your skills, you're trying to better yourself. And I didn't, until I started doing personal development, I didn't really understand, right? I just was kind of going through life, doing my things. And until I started really doing personal development, really understanding everything I'm doing is putting me farther ahead, even though I feel like it's taken forever. But just looking back and where I was a year ago, 2 years ago, a couple years ago, right? You just like, man, it doesn't look like much, but it is. Personally, as a person, I'm a better person where I am. Career wise, I'm at a better spot, and it's not being afraid to make changes, to pivot. Kind of what we were talking about earlier is like, 'cause sometimes you get to a spot and you're like, okay, there's not much more. I'm already at the ceiling. I need to go here, pivot to the right, and boom, now I keep going through these new doors and going here. And sometimes that might stop again. And okay, I'm going to stay here, or I'm going to go here and level up. So it's just one of those things is really being able to look at what is stopping you, what's hindering you. Is it a real thing, or is it something that's just in your mind, and being able to make the right choice? Because essentially that's all it is, right? Just choices. Or can you keep stacking the right choices? You're looking at rental properties. Should I buy this one? Oh, I didn't buy this one. Well, good thing I didn't buy that one, because there is something that ended up happening with it, right? We're taking all this information, evaluating it, and making choices, and hoping we're making the best choices, and not getting stuck, right? Being able to make a choice rather quickly and go with it. I think too many people too will start questioning their choice and, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, and like get stuck and not. It's like, make a decision and go with that decision. I forget what movie it was, but I always try and just think about it that way. Sometimes it's like, it doesn't matter what decision you make one and go with it. Because when you're stuck and you start procrastinating, then you're just not going anywhere. Then all of a sudden, days, months go by, and you're like, well, shit, I'm still at the same spot. It's like, versus if even if it's a wrong decision, you're gonna learn from it, and then you have that knowledge, and then okay, now I can make some right decisions.
What is that saying? Paralysis by analysis, I think is the
Oh,
thing. Analysis by paralysis.
yes.
I don't know how it goes, but it some sales guy said that to me, and I looked at him and I'm like, dude, I've been here for like 5 minutes. Like, bro, like give me like a second. All right. Like we're gonna be living in this RV. Okay. This is not analysis by paralysis. He goes, well, what do you got to think about? And I'm like, dude, my family's gonna be here for like years. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a big decision. And then I think oftentimes, we in life, there are certain decisions that we make rather fast, and they're usually the worst decisions in the world. And it's about the shortcomings, right? It's last night at midnight, instead of heading back to the hotel and getting the work that I needed to get done, it'd been really easy to make a bad choice, in that moment, to keep drinking. I probably would have missed this podcast. I probably wouldn't have been able to upload the vlog or my other Adventures 3 channel vlog. But at the same time, I think oftentimes if you do the necessary homework, if you do the necessary education, those decisions, when they're presented to you, are really easy to hit. You know what I mean? Like if you put in the work, and then it's presented to you, you can just make the decision, and you can make it rather fast, where you don't get stuck. And one of the things that Gary Vee has said this year is stop reading books, stop watching podcasts, stop listening to these fucking influencers, and go out there and take some action. And it was a great reminder for me, because oftentimes you go through life and you're looking for like the cheat code, right? You're looking for the shortcut, and you're walking around the block and you're trying to find the fucking alleyway that's going to get you there much faster. And by the time you get to the destination, and by the time you get to that shortcut and you've arrived at your destination, if you would have just gone down the regular path and just put in the work, took the action necessary, you would have gotten to the destination so much faster than looking for the cheat code in life. And I think it's one of those things that, if you can recognize that when you're doing it, because oftentimes I do it. Oh God, I've lost many deals in real estate because I was thinking about it too much. I didn't have the necessary education. I was looking for the cheat code. I was looking for the edge, and I missed it. I missed the deal. And it probably because I wasn't prepared, for this journey. These last couple of weeks, I've been looking for the business, the thing that's going to get me to the next level, instead of just doing what I love and just doing what I love better. And stop reading the books. Stop looking for the cheat code. Stop looking at these fucking Alex Hormozy, Grant Cardone. Name the list of all these fucking people that are just there to suck you in, to buy their next thing. And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying at some point in time, you got to step back and you got to let life allow you to make those actions. Because it's unknown when your expiration date's going to happen, and you might as well take action, because like you said, Nate, if you fuck it up, what's the worst that can happen? Like, it's not like you're not pulling a trigger. Okay. You're literally just, fuck it. You fucked up. Okay. Learn from it and keep going.
Yeah. I'm going to it depends when you're doing it, right? Like, and we talk about decisions and choices. I think, right, like you're driving in the car, are you going to just listen to music, or are you going to listen to a podcast that's going to, be beneficial to you, that you can pick up something to learn from? So I think, and I don't know when a lot of people are doing it, but it is, right? Because you're sitting on the couch or sitting on something, and you just start scrolling on Instagram. Yes, cool. And I think that's sometimes what he's probably referring to, because I think there is time, like it depends on what your choices are and what you're doing. Are you just sitting on the couch scrolling, watching on there, or could you be doing something productive? If you're driving in the car anyways, you might as well be listening to a podcast, because that's going to get you somewhere farther a little bit than just listen to music or whatever, watching a movie, because freaking I've seen some people do that too. So, it's all about, choices and decisions, and right. And it's like, when are you doing things, and what can you pick up to make, move forward? I'm going to ask you this. Sorry, JC, I was just thinking about what we were talking about and stuff. When you checked into your hotel, and this is a good tip for everyone, if anyone, did you ask for a complimentary upgrade on your room?
No, because I checked in through a fucking machine.
Okay.
Yeah. I walked in the hotel, and I go to the front desk, and this lady walks up. She goes, "Would you like to check in?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it'd be great. How do I do that?" She's just go over to this kiosk, and I'm like, "What?" I go, "No, where's the person I can talk to?" Because I'm the guy that, upgrades, 10% off, champagne. I ask for the world, because I don't want the mountain view of the pipes, okay, and the shitty, skyline. All right, I want the good view. And no, I'm sick. I feel like I'm an ATM machine. It was a horrible experience. I bitched about it on my daily vlog. I was so mad. But I know where you're going. Keep going.
No, yes, and it's just one of those things that you just got to ask, and with anything, right? And sometimes, yeah. If let's just say you did, which I've done it before, I've gotten, even if it's just getting a higher room, right? Because the room on the 5th floor versus the room on the 15th floor is just a better view, no matter what. At least you're not going to be stuck looking at some pipes, and even that, hey, cool, tip $20 or whatever it is, like it's worth it And because a lot of times I do have that availability, you just got to ask. And I think a lot of things too is, people don't even ask, right? Because what's the worst that's going to happen? They'll be like, no, we don't have anything. Oh, okay, well, but if you don't ask, you're never going to get, and that just goes with anything. And that's something I heard, and it's something I just, everywhere I go, I always try and just, take it into account. Like, it just doesn't hurt to ask.
It's an exercise that I always point to people if they have some type of fear of rejection in life. Okay, and we talked about the no's. You could, I guess, you could do this in life too. I once told a friend of mine, I go, everything in this world is negotiable. He goes, no, it's not. I go, okay, let's, and we were headed to some big box store, and he goes, this Home Depot doesn't negotiate. I go, bullshit, they do. He goes, how are you going to negotiate with Home Depot? This isn't a street fair. This isn't the swap meet. This isn't a garage sale. All right, Gary Vee. I go, listen, watch this. So we go pick out our stuff. I go to the counter. I go, can I have 10% off? She looks at me like, what? I go, yeah, can I have 10% off? I don't think so. I go, well, can you ask? Sure enough, she walks over, manager comes over and goes, how can we help you? I go, I'd like 10% off. He goes, why? I go, I don't know, because I want it. He goes, I guess. And sure enough, 10% off immediately. Everything in life is negotiable. Just like you said, asking for your upgrade, everything's negotiable. If you go to Starbucks, this is what I do. I think it's a great exercise. My wife absolutely hates this. She goes, just pay the money, let's leave. I go, because I'm at Starbucks negotiating with the barista, and she's like, headset on, fucking can't hear me anyways, and I'm trying to get a deal. But in your life, just pick one incident where you're purchasing something and negotiate. So, and it's as simple as just ask for 10% off, and you'll be shocked on how often they will just give you the 10% off, because to them, because from the person behind the counters, like, what? Like, sure, like, because they don't want the rejection either. They don't want the negativity. They don't want to hear the no. They don't want to not get the sale. So they'd rather give you the 10% off. And it's just this mind game. And it puts you in a place where asking for 10% off or a discount puts you in a place that you're willing to ask for things, on larger decisions. One of the things that cracks me up the most about real estate, as we've talked about a couple times here in the show, negotiate with your real estate agent. They're like, you can't do that. I go, bullshit, I can. You can absolutely ask for a discount. They either want the listing or not. If they don't want the listing, fuck, I'll list it. I don't care. And it's one of those exercises that if you do in life and you do it on a very small scale, you will be shocked on when it comes to the bigger purchases. It's not as scary.
Yeah, no, definitely. It does. Sometimes it's not even saying just 10%. It's, hey, can I get your employee discount, right? Because so many places have that, and most of the time they're like, oh, sure, yeah. So and it is, I think it's an exercise, right? People don't sometimes look at things that it's improving your skills. It's helping you, like you said, asking for things, just talking with people, communicating. And even that, you can make that a game of, hey, I'm going to try and get 10 no's by everywhere I go, right? Because that's right. They mostly are going to tell you no. Well, in trying to do it, you're probably going to get a bunch of yeses. So I can, there's that 10 no's a day you can really try and get. I think the bigger thing is it does what it also is just helping you, yeah, not have that fear of rejection, being able to talk to strangers, right? Because usually the time you're just like, it's the most basic thing. You're just saying, yeah, can I get this? There's not really a conversation going on. So it just does open up dialogue. It gets you more comfortable. And, crazy enough, I work with salespeople. I've a sales team, and even that, people that talk with people every day still have uncomfortable talking to people about certain things and asking and all this and that. And I think that's part of even sales and being a leader and being a manager and having that personal development is just being able to not have that confidence, have no fear, and just go in and do something. And no matter what, even if you get punched in the face, you're going to learn from it, and being able to just go do it. And a lot of people just can't, right? They'll freeze up. It's just, you just got to go head first into it and take that action, and no matter what happens, you're going to learn something.
Absolutely, Nate. So let's wrap it at that. I think we've dabbled in a lot of great suggestions in this particular episode. I think people are going to enjoy this one. So till next week, Nate.
Take some action.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.